Good morning, Professor and class. Today I'm going to discuss how to solve quadratic equations by using the quadratic formula. And basically the quadratic equation is an equation that has a square term in it, meaning that it has x squared. So the quadratic equation is 8x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And what we want to do here is we want to identify the values of a, b, and c in this quadratic equation. We also want to use the quadratic formula to solve the quadratic equation. So here is our formula. And the formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so I chose an equation. Right, this is my example. My example is 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 equals 0. And we have to try to get the, as I said earlier, the a, the b, and the c. So the values that I am going to use are for a, I'm going to use 2, and it's always, for a, it's always in front of x squared. B is always in front of the x, and c is always the constant term. So for the values of a, b, and c, I'm going to use a equals 2, b equals 3, and c equals negative 5. Okay? So again, I wrote down my formula, which is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus minus 4ac all over 2a. Then I'm just going to plug in my values here like so. So x equals a negative 3 because we have a negative sign up here, so we have to bring down a negative sign. And so b, the value of b is 3 plus or minus the square root of b, which is 3 squared, minus 4. The value for a is 2, and the value for c is negative 5, all over 2, and the value for a is 2 again. Okay? So now, when I further try to simplify this answer, I have x equals negative 3, which I just brought straight down, negative 3 plus or minus square root of 3 times 3 is 9, plus negative 4 times 2 is 8, times a negative 5 will give me a positive 40, and 2 times 2 is 4. Okay? So I'm coming onto this side of the page. Now what I did is I just brought down, again, x equals negative 3 plus or minus 40, and 9 gave me 49 over 4. Since 49 is the perfect square, meaning that it is 7 times 7 is 49. That makes it a perfect square. I then further brought down negative 3 plus or minus 7 over 4. Okay. Then what I did here was, since 49 is a perfect square, meaning that it could be a negative or a positive, I have to make sure that I don't forget this. I don't forget this here, because I have to make sure that it's a positive and a negative works evenly. So x equals negative 3 plus 7 over 4. Right? So negative 3 plus 7 gives me a 4, and I brought down a 4, so 4 over 4 equals 1, and x equals a negative 3 and a negative minus 7 over 4. So a negative 3 minus 7 is a negative 10 over 4, which when I simplify it gives me a negative 5 over 2. Okay? So my solution for both of this is a 1 and a negative 2. And this is my answer for my example that I shared with you. Thank you and have a good day.